Welcome to another home edition of The Bottom Line. Jim, I'm kind of enjoying working from home. It's no commuting time.
Yes.
I
Yes.
can I can take a break and go to the kitchen. There's certainly fewer interruptions, but I also miss my coworkers. It's a trade-off, and the question is, will we get back to office life anytime soon?
Well, we're on a great national experiment to see if working from home works. And I think, the vibe I'm getting is, yes, it does work. And this has some, severe, I think, long-term implications for the office industry, for the office real estate market. I think, immediately, when they start bringing people back, you're going to have to space them farther apart.
Right.
And we spent the last years squishing people together in these open office plans. So, eventually, immediately they're going to need the same amount of office space that they have. But eventually, I think they've learned a lesson. They said, boy, we can have people work from home and we don't have to rent all this expensive office space. What do you think?
Well, that's an interesting question, and at least a few companies, Twitter and Square among them, kind of leading tech companies, have said that at least some large number of their employees will be able to work from home permanently, or work remotely anyway. They won't require them to ever return to the office. So maybe there is something to what you say, and maybe there will be a lot of office space. But I think for most businesses, there are reasons to return to the office. I mean, that building a corporate culture takes person-to-person interaction, and you can be productive for a couple of months, as we've seen, in a kind of a functioning corporate culture can survive that. But when you're talking about doing it permanently, I'm not so sure that you can keep that culture going and adapt it and inculcate new employees into the ways of your corporation's culture. Of
course, and the ambitious junior employee wants to kiss up to the boss, and it's very difficult to do that over Zoom. You have to be in a face-to-face meeting with them, and a boss, of course, wants to keep command, so he wants to see those people who are working out there in the office very hard for him, get suspicious when they're at home, thinks they might be goofing off. So I think culturally there's a pull back, but if you really look at the dollars and cents of it, now that you've proved you don't need this office space, I think the bean counters are going to win. What do you think?
Well, I mean, there's been this concept for a while of hoteling or hot desking, where employees will come and go and just work in a space. I mean, I've talked to people who've worked in those environments, and most of them don't like it very much. It does, They like having their own space when they're in the office, and they're having a regular group of coworkers that they interact with as a team or whatever. I think maybe those command and control bosses you talk about have learned something from this quarantine episode, that they don't need to be as controlling, that their workers are pretty productive in the home environment. But there are all those other intangibles, that just the spontaneous interactions with your coworkers, where you get good ideas or suggestions, or get your questions answered. Particularly that new employee. I mean, it takes a lot less effort to walk over to the coworker next to you and ask a dumb question that does to set up a Zoom meeting with your boss, go through all the rigmarole. You might just not ask the question and struggle instead.
That's an advantage of the office. The disadvantage is the loud coworker at the next desk who you can't hear yourself think when he's battling away, or the guy that comes over wants to talk about the Cardinals game, and you got to spend 10 minutes doing that, or you think you got to spend 10 minutes doing that. So,
Yeah.
and you have less distraction at home, and you can use your commuting time, which is nerve wracking on Highway 40 or
Right.
44. I mean, you can use that for work. So I think perhaps productivity improves. What do you think?
I think productivity has been pretty good during this work from home episode. I think we probably will head back to a mixed future where companies will offer more flexibility. They'll trust employees to work from home at least part of the time, but they'll require either everyone to be there on certain days of the week just to for team building purposes, or they'll alternate. It's going to be very different for a while when we immediately go back because of kind of the distancing requirements, and common spaces such as cafeterias might be closed down. It's and that's going to be with us for a while. But then I think over the medium term, I think we'll evolve to a more flexible future.
I think so. And at the Post-Dispatch, we've had a 30-year experiment really working from home, because the sports writers didn't even have desks in the office.
Sure.
That's been going on forever. And we have a good sports page. I mean,
they're
that
very
should taught the editors one thing. They don't have to have eyeballs on the reporter to make sure he's working. So so I think so. But I wouldn't be investing in commercial real estate these days. We already have an 11% vacancy rate in St. Louis, 10 point something. You look at year from now, I think that's going to be higher.
Well, I think that market's going to be tough for the next couple of years, just because of companies downsizing,
Recession.
because of the recession. Companies are downsizing. They're having difficulty paying their rents in a lot of cases. But I think if you're looking 10 years down the road or something, I think the office market will come back.
I think so.